Hi guys, we're back with French Revolution Part 3. Going to move on. You should have now done Activity 2, page 72. So let's have a look at the course of the revolution. Now this is the route that the revolution took, all right, the course, not the cause. Causes of the revolution we've done. What were the new ideas of fraternity, liberty, and equality? We spoke about that already. Liberty, call for individual human rights such as freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Equality is a desire for identical rights for all instead of privileges for the few. They wanted equal opportunities where the positions were based on ability and not birth or status. And fraternity, of course, brotherhood, all working together for the common good. And there's a little badge or the little emblem that they used during that time: liberty, equality, and brotherhood, with the hammer and the sickle. That sort of reminds us of the communistic symbol that was used later on by the communists here in the between 1920 odd and 1980. Okay, start of the revolution. Different views about when the revolution actually started. Some believe it started June 1789 when the Third Estate ignored the king and formed the National Assembly. That is now, remember, when they went to the tennis court. We'll talk about that just now. Others believe that it began in July 1789 when the people of Paris attacked the Bastille. That's the two sort of ideas of when it started. So it's about a month apart, the two incidents. Now, when the States General met at Versailles in 1789, that was now the big meeting that everybody was looking forward to. They called themselves the National Assembly and vowed to stay there until they have drawn up a new constitution for France. Now, the First and the Second Estates were then forced to join this process. But the problem with this process was that it was a very, very, very slow process. All right. So just let's recap quickly of how they got there. Remember, they called the Estates General, and then the Third Estate was not allowed to be part of this meeting. They wanted to be, but they weren't allowed to be part of this meeting. And then they went to the Royal Tennis Court. The tennis court is now not like our tennis courts here. It's a Royal Tennis Court was a building, big building with one tennis court in and lots of seating around it. It's where the king and the queen played tennis on a Sunday afternoon, I suppose. And that's where the Third Estate then decided they were going to stay there until they drew up a new constitution. And the First and the Second Estate, First Estate, of course, the clergy, Second Estate, the nobles, had no choice but to join them. But the process of drawing up a new constitution was a very, very slow one. And the people of Paris became very impatient. And there was high employment at the time. The bread prices continued to rise, so there was unhappiness, and the unhappiness were starting to become a real issue. By July 1789, people in Paris were spending 75% of their wages, of their salaries, just on bread. That is how expensive everything became. And the king then called more troops to Versailles and to Paris. And the people were scared that the National Assembly will be shut down by force. So they then revolted. And that was the start of the French Revolution. Then some historians believe that on the 14th of July in 1789, a whole group of people, lots of people, Third Estate, from Paris, stormed the Bastille. Now the Bastille was a prison, and most of the prisoners in the Bastille was political prisoners. So they weren't the thieves and the murderers. They were people that were put there for what they said and how they said it against the government, and all the criticism that they had against the government. And then they were thrown in jail because there was no freedom of speech yet during this time. All right. And there we have a picture of the fall of the Bastille. There you can see that the Bastille now came to a crashing fall.